I really regret my early on statements of I like Blue, I like Julie, with the way that I feel like Blue's manipulating Julie the same way I think Fiana's manipulating Koji. Hey everybody, welcome back to another Stoneface Reactions. I'm Theta, and we're back to another episode of Infinite Ryvius. Before anything else, though, of course, let's bring up the board and let's go through some changelog and notes. Move you over there a little bit, because, of course, I've got notes about last episode. I didn't think I was going to have a lot, because it conceivably seemed to be a number of recap things, as positioned by outside characters that we don't typically see a lot of. Let's see. First up, though, the board changelog. The new thing that I do in regarding the board, instead of just showing it to you and not having a lot to say. We got a new red line drawn between Ran and Criff. Obviously, they haven't done anything to each other, but when Charlie is getting yelled at for firing the railgun, Criff is like congratulating him for when he's like apologizing for it, and Rand is like, stupid woman. So that's what I believe is up there. Again, in the case of Infinite Ryvius, some of these lines just also represent expected attitudes in case something happens. Has already proven to be untrue in some cases, where I've drawn a green line between, what was his name? Stein and Luxon, and then like Stein threw Luxon under the bus immediately. But then again, that's because they had an unwritten, or as of yet unwritten, backstory where Luxon's dad apparently helped Stein out, so that was an element that we could not have predicted. Anyway, also added Berkovich to the board. Dude over here who's been on the board for a while, didn't have a name for him. Turns out to be, well, I put him in the Orbital Security Bureau. He seems to be like the vice president of the Alliance. So, I don't know, maybe I should name this like Alliance People or something. Because now it's outside the bounds of just this one specific organization. Anyway, to the notes. I appreciate that when blame starts cropping up in the general population of the ship, some mention of the supervisors is given as well. I don't know why I air quoted that. They're not air quote people. Supervisors are a group of people. Anyway, some mention of the supervisors is given as well, and not all the blame is leveled at this Y. Maybe it's just my own penchant for factionalism, but I chose this Y as the group I liked the most early on, and have been rooting for them to make a comeback after Blue took over, and they started taking shit from everyone. So anytime the rest of the ship thinks Blue and gang might be responsible, it just feels better to me. Not to mention, it's some sort of vindication, since Blue is actually responsible this time. By which, of course, I'm referring to that time where he called the Mars government and told everyone that they were terrorists and was laughing his head off. Again, I could be wrong about that being what happened. He might have just heard the news and started laughing his head off, but it very much seems like he was alone on the bridge, made the call. Just a note here for myself, I guess, in the long run. So all the planets of the system belong to an organization called the Alliance. I'm only making a note of that so that if future me has to reference something that I've claimed or the show says something about it, I can like do a quick search on my notes on the word Alliance, say, and see that. That's the main purpose of having these giant notepads full of notes, is that if I need to double check anything that I've written down before about something that's happened in the show, I can see what I thought about it. Alright, the dude is going over the mission information that we saw was handed to him on like a bloody tablet, and he's like, say, pay the family, the bereaved family. Going over that one. Mission codename Vecker. Plan drafted Earth Standard Time, October 21st, 2223. Which means that I got the year wrong. In episode 2, I guessed that the year was 2217, based on the fact that they said the Gadult incident took place in 2137, and that was 80 years ago. In fact, as of my writing this, I just went back to episode 1 and double-checked, and it literally says 2225 is the year. So, dumb on me. Just as a reminder, though, they did mention that the Bratica was involved in an incident 10 years ago, so around 2215. Though our new narrator perspective says a system that operated just once 12 years ago, which I would have to believe refers to the same incident, pushing that date further back to 2213. Let's see. On the Vecker thing, 6 months later, initial phase commences. Operation starts on April the 28th, 2225, though that means that it took them a full year for everything to come together at the start of the show. Because if you remember, the operation was drafted in 2223. The initial phase commenced on 2225. That's 2 years, which means that 6 months later, you guys can do the math. I had previously noted that Vaya was another name for the Vital Garter, based on what the people not on the ship were saying to one another. But this guy from last episode repeatedly calls the Ryvius a Vaya ship. I don't know if that means it's a class of ship with others of its type all being grouped together, or if Vaya is the name of the Vital Garter, and it's being called a Vaya ship because it carries a Vital Garter. Later on, the Alliance scientists refer to the Vital Garter as Einvolt, so I could just be totally off, one way or the other. It's funny how many shows are only run for 12 episodes, and how many questions I get left with how many questions I have 12 episodes in on shows that are like 24 episodes or something like that. It's the strange amount of pacing, but I guess pacing is all dependent on how much content there is to begin with. The Ryvius' initial gravity well, when it was first getting attacked, is said to have been 70 kilometers wide. Not for nothing, but that's large enough to encompass the distance from Philadelphia to New York City. Just making me think that this thing could do serious damage if it was on Earth. Narration guy says the ship would need a Sphinx to operate and wonders who is controlling it. So I then have to wonder, is the Sphinx the purple girl? But then again, I still have to wonder if Purple Girl is just a representation of, I don't know, the ship mind reading everybody. So during the debate on what to do, by the way, Julie brings up landing the ship on Mars, like I was saying episodes ago, so at least my favorite character is thinking the same thing as well. Just way too slow about it, apparently. Anyways, during the debate, we get a shot of Purple Girl as visions of each of the characters saying what they think they should do appears. I think this is another visual of the fact that Purple Girl is tied to everyone's thoughts and is possibly reacting based off of them. Still holding on to that theory that I had early on. When asked what his opinion is, Blue says he has none. Maybe listening to the people on the bridge maybe he's listening to the people on the bridge and is adjusting his plans is an upside of his command, but actually deciding on a course of action and having an opinion on what to do would also be great as well. Blue strikes me as someone that wants to be in command without having to actually do anything. In that respect, I think he's closer to Luxon than anyone else. Might be why they are side by side in the opening of the show. Also, hypocrisy from Koji. Julie asks Blue his opinion. He says he has none. No one bats an eye. Fu asks Yuki his opinion. Yuki says he has none, and Koji goes off on him. No doubt why they framed Yuki's response with a smirking Blue in the same shot. I mean, Blue has to also see the hypocrisy going on, but he is the benefactor of it, so. It seems like the president of the Alliance considers what they are doing to be shameful, but also too important to stop. The confusing bit for me is that he throws out the line, even if another Gadult event were to occur, as though that was related and on the table. I would then wonder if the Ryvius had something to do with the Gadult event, if not for the fact that that was 80 years ago, and the Bratica thing was 12 years ago. In a later conversation, an aide says that all of this is to find a future for mankind, making me think that maybe the entire solar system is in danger, and maybe this ship is some sort of ark or a means to escape what is coming or going to happen, which is why they don't care about who is on it, but more so who they want to be on it. Again, just random speculation from me. Could be wrong. I'm not like throwing all my hat into the ring on this one. So Conrad gets told that the Gespenst, sorry, I don't, 2 years of high school German, don't speak a word of it. Gets told that the Gespenst, a German word translating to ghost or specter, is being recalled to the solar system. I believe during my reaction to the episode, I was suggesting that there was something major going on outside the solar system that ships like this were needed for. But with the context of Berkovich, I feel like maybe the threat of another Gedult event is causing a need to evacuate the system, or something, and maybe these ships are looking for a new home for humanity, maybe? The only thing that'd make me think otherwise is the comment, the people in charge have no battlefield knowledge, and they have no idea what this could result in, which could imply either that the Gespnist was fighting in a war out there, and its loss on the front could have consequences, or that it being in the system and fighting the Ryvius could have consequences here. Not something I wrote down, but just occurs to me now that maybe messing with gravity and such caused the Gedult phenomenon in the first place. Maybe that's the concern, that having the Ryvius flying around the system could affect the Gedult or the sun in a way that could create a secondary Gedult phenomenon, or having two ships that use gravity systems in the system could cause that. Like, I don't know what the event 80 years ago was. Maybe 80 years ago was the creation of gravity control systems, and somehow that, like, affected the sun. Like, maybe they targeted the sun with it. I don't know. Just spitballing here. And in that, they created the system that they now exist in. And that their fear is having these things in the system would be too dangerous, and that's why they're extrasolar ships. Again, just spitballing ideas. And my last one here, I think Fiona is a cultist, and that she's indoctrinating Koji into her beliefs. She is breaking down some of the elements of who he is, and directing him to act differently, in ways that seem that allow her to more control over him, but from a way that makes her seem more innocent. I don't know. Maybe I'm just suspecting everyone of everything now, but I'll be keeping a closer eye on her. I believe this is stuff that I talked about at the end of last episode, because their final scene at the end of the episode was so weird. And I don't mean like it was just weird for weirdness sake. I mean it was so weird as on a character level, and an interaction that they never seemed to have before. Maybe right before the dance where she like got on him for like being a people pleaser. But there's just an element of that interaction that seemed like she was manipulating him in a way that had long-term consequences. I don't know. I guess I'm just waiting to see where it goes. Anyway, those were all my thoughts. That has been the board, so I guess there's nothing left to do but to hop on into it and see where we go from here.
But before we get started,
make sure that you hit the like button,
hit that subscribe button,
comment down below to feed that algorithm.
On top of all that, if you want to watch more shows like this,
unfiltered,
uncensored,
and uncut,
as well as some early access stuff,
you can check it out over on the Patreon.
It's just $5 a month, but hey, no pressure.
There's zero pressure in order to do that. It's just a little bit of extra support, and it would be greatly appreciated.
Oh, that's right. It's been a month. The end of the episode said it's been a month.
YK ソリッド F4 で回した OK
Okay, they bring her in. Do they have a relationship after last month? The soundtrack, man. I guess it doesn't hurt that the most damaging thing around, you just throw things into it. I guess I'm also sort of thrown by something they said before, that the Vital Garter could do like 20 Gs or something like that. Whatever number they threw out, it was supposed to be like beyond the human ability to withstand themselves. But it's tied to a ship behind it that can't do that. So it can do like high-speed maneuvers in a very short area, it feels like. I guess I'm also somewhat excited for this episode because I did see somebody made a comment. I can't remember if it was on a recent video or if it was on Patreon. I don't exactly remember where, but they said, "Oh, I can't wait for episode 13." Well, we're on episode 13, so I don't know what to expect here. It's just the nature of it, I guess, is that we did a 1-month time skip at the very end of last episode. By which I mean, literally, we went to like a vision of space, and they said, it's been 1 month since then. And then we went to credits, so we haven't actually seen the effects of a month in time. Although, to be fair, the last time we time skipped was like 3 weeks from Libra Delta's fall to getting to Mars, and not a lot changed then, other than people painted the ship up. I guess at least they seem to be working as a crew now. Actually, very favor of blue. Oh, it better not be like, fuck. It's the thing I don't want for blue. I don't want him fucking around with Julie that way. I really regret my early on statements of I like blue, I like Julie, with the way that I feel like Blue's manipulating Julie the same way I think Fiana's manipulating Koji. Don't like this. I guess this is the method that they're using to control everyone. Oh, this is bad. I actually start to feel bad for Lucen now. Oh, come on, man. Let's have consideration for the fucking pet. That fucking pet is here.
ルクスン、ここはもう一般社会じゃない。リバイアスなんだよ。
I wish they hadn't done the 1 month jump because I want to have seen how we wound up in this situation.
食料消費は平均 0.53 まで減少しました。
順調じゃねえか。不満のメールでいっぱいなんだけど。
変な連中が幅利かせてるしね。
すべて必要枠です。
感謝してるよ。いざこざが減るってことをさ。
そうね。
This is creating
それも
tension.
考慮
This
に
isn't
入れて作った
reducing
ポイン
it.
ト制です。感情の入る余地をなくせば人は従順になりますから。
従順。ただの強制労働のくせに。食料がなくなるのはいつ頃になる？
このままだと6ヶ月と少し。
それまでに受け入れ先を探さないと。
現在地を考えると木星圏か土星圏ってことになるな。進路は土星に変更してやる。どうして？
あそこは独立自治を宣言しています。他の惑星圏の介入を嫌う傾向にありますし、政治のほとんどを各自治体に任せていますから、同盟も下手に手を出せないはずです。
その中の一つを味方に引き込み
Well,
はいい
that's
って
some
こ
world
とだ
building at least.
そういうことなら賛成。
でも治安は最悪らしいわ。
助かりたいんじゃなかったのか。決まりだな。コージ、後で館内に今の決定事項をアップしとけ。分かったよ。
これは
前回保留になっていたバイタルガーダー用のデータです。
何に使うの？
秘密。
あっそ。
Oh man, I hope they don't like assault Saturn or
あり
something.
がとう送ってくれて。
いや、
部屋はまだ余ってるようだけど、こっちには来ないの。
郁美たちがあっちに残るって言うからさ。一人だけ抜けるっていうのも気が引けるしね。
残念。コウジとなら一緒の部屋でもいいのに。
え？
冗談。ドキッとした？
I believe you are manipulating.
気が変わったらいつでも来て。
This feels
あと葵さんたちにラーフラの世話ごめんなさいって。
伝えとくよ。
feels like too much of a change to not be, I don't know, weird.
天皇政権の考え方なのかな。
いらっしゃい。
What's it called? It's a fucking cult. But then again, the other guy was walking along with a bunch of people who felt like a cult too.
いい加減しつこいのよ。
理由が知りたいんだ。この部屋まで用意してあげたのに。
船がブルーのものになったからあんたはもう用済み。
そんな、君は僕をおもちゃにしたのかい？
その通り。
どうしたのクリフ？
見苦しいぞ、チャーリー。
ブライアン、どうして君がここに？
うせな。
君を愛するのは僕だけだ。だって君は。
もうじゃあ言ったな。それ以上喋ったら殺す。
Very confusing. I mean, expected, but the double talk, very confusing.
シャーロット、僕のポイントここに置いていくから。
ありがとうジョーさん。愛してるわ。
そんな。よし、明日も頑張っちゃおうかな。
I guess at least she's found a way to make this creep work for her.
くれるって言うんだもん。
Not great, but I mean, that whole thing could have gone a weird different way.
おばさん臭いのあんた。どうしてそんなになるまで働くの？イクミもコウジ君もポイントフリーなんだよ。上がってもらえばいいじゃん。女の意地です。あんたらがオゼ君たちと付き合っててくれてよかったわ。これからも素敵な友達でいてね。打算的な優勝だな。下手に友達面するよりいいでしょ。まあ確かに。
おい。
Yeah, it's weird. Everyone's being real weird.
資材部にシーツ取りに行くけど、なんか欲しいものある？
あるたくさんある。
そう。
コウジ君、資材部には私が行くから休んでていいわよ。今カーゴ持ってくるから。
でも。
いいから。その代わりおばさんの面倒やら
I
な
mean,
く
it
てね。
really feels like we have hit the Lord of the Flies section. Factionalism, bits of infighting.
無理しすぎなんだよ。
うるさい。
分かってるさ。いつまでもこんなことが続くわけないって。
だったらなぜ続けるの？
お前ならどうする？今の状況、みんなの気持ち、残りの食料。最良が最善じゃない。
そんなの逃避よ。
そう思う。でもさ、俺たちがいた社会だって同じだよ。いろんな人の気持ちを考える必要がある。しょうがないことだってあるさ。
まるで評論家ね。でもコウジと違って私はポイント稼ぐ必要があるの。
だから葵も俺の ID 使えばもっと楽に。
ズルなんかしたくない。特権階級に恵んでもらうなんて。
俺だって働いてる。
ファイナのためにでしょ。
そんなんじゃないって。なんだよ、らしくねえぞ。
泣き言ぐらい言ってもいいじゃない。
なんで俺なんだよ。
コウジだからよ。
尻滅裂すぎ。
なんでそんなに変わっちゃったのよ。あんたは私の幼馴染なんだから。
Well, what an anime standard. Just fell into you. In fact, though, that's how Vanna and him first kissed.
何やってんだよ、バカ。
事故よ、事故。ねえ。私たちどうなるの？
そんなのわかるかよ。
パッタ君、ここで少し待ってるように。
Well, why wouldn't Vienna take Rafra with them? Oh, let's get his clothes back.
グラン、君が裏切ったなんて私は信じない。頑張るのだ。私も頑張る。頑張るよ。努力してみるつもりだ。
Well, I mean, Luxon is showing he can develop as a character. Again, I feel bad for Luxon. It's a weird change that they developed here.
なあお前、バイタルガーダーのパイロットだろ。
ちょっと ID 貸してくれよ。お前らポイントフリーなんだし。
ごめんだね、アホ。
なんだと？優遇されてるからって偉そうにしてんじゃねえぞ。
逆恨みすんな。お前らに才能がねえだけじゃねえか。脳みそねえやつは地道に働け。
えらくはっきり煽ってくれんじゃねえか。かっこいいんだよ、このガキ。
I mean, it's the idea that they feel like they're not going to be, like, punished for essentially beating on...
ユイリ、何を調べてるの？ちょっとね。
ルクスン北条だ。パット・キャンベル君をお連れした。
いつもご苦労様。どうしたの、ルクスン？
イメージチェンジだ。
ルクスン、パンツ脱がされてた。
パット君。
かっこ悪かった。
いやその
ごめんなさい。パットのことを守ってくれたのね。
そうなのだ。
グランの様子はどうだった？
食事はとっている。大丈夫と。
So I guess they brought them back on the ship.
よかったらお茶でも飲んでいかない？
そうだな。私も何かと忙しいが少しだけなら。
ルクスン入ってくるよ。なぜだ？
Come on. Luxon's literally the least problematic person right now.
目上の者を呼び捨てにしない。どうしたんですか、レイコさん。裏技をちょっとね。
Well, at least Nyx's team is a little bit better.
一人でなんて危ないよ。管理が厳しくてみんなイライラしてるし。
そうだぜ。もし襲われでもしたら。あ、お前は平気か。
でも雪は3人だったんだけどね。
どういうこと？
友情友情。
友情に感謝。
何？
This is really going to take a lot of
よかったよ。
reviewing for when I do the notes to figure out the new standard between people on the ship now.
なんか前 痺しちゃった。不安になれちゃったのかも。
I think I might have to even redo the entire board again.
一人っ子だったからわがまま聞いてもらってたし、リーベデルタに一人で行くって決めた時は揉めちゃったけどね。
そっか。
イクミはどうしてリーベデルタに来たの？
二種免許取れれば仕事もらえるから。
またそれ？ちゃんと教えてよ。イクミのこと私もっと知りたい。
話すほどのことなんてないよ。
イクミ、言って。
何よ。
守ってやるって。お願い、聞かせて。
お前を守ってやる。
約束。
I mean, I didn't doubt that he would say it. Given his whole thing in episode 1, and his whole thing about his sister.
おかしい。
何が？
全然グッとこない。
いや、そんなこと言われてもね。つうか、それは君の個人的な問題でしょ。
おかしいおかしい。
あ、もうわがまますぎる。
もっとロマンティックが止まらないように。
Okay, who's doing this? Oh, maybe there's the ship. Maybe there's Purple Girl.
喧嘩ができるものね。感心するわ、まったく。今日は何人
？4人だ。
喧嘩強いの十分分かったからさ、もうやめれば。
エアーズブルーに借りを返せるようになればな。
何でもできないと気が済まないのね。そんなに兄貴さんが気になるわけ？あ、図星？悪い悪い。怒った？
別に。
I think I really will have to redo the board specifically for who's responsible for what sections. What are you up to?
やはりこの船のシステムは未完成のままだ。意図的な欠落。しかしそれならなぜリバイアスは動いたのか。そして軌道保安庁の攻撃を受けた時、なぜ勝手にフィールドが展開したのか。おそらく
Yeah, that's
バイタ
fixed.
ルガーダーの構成物質と。
おいヘイガー、喉が渇いた。茶持ってこい。
私は配膳係ではありません。コウジ君に頼まれては。
バカ、冗談だよ。少しは笑えよ、優等生。
I want more about his relationship with Lukeson.
せーの、ハスキース、おめでとうございます。なんで知ってんのよ。
Okay, not the Purple Girl then.
まさかこれで？
そういうわけみたいだ。
おかしい、グッとこない。信じらんないこいつら。
まあまあ、落ち着いて。
落ち着けるわけないでしょ。ごめんね小杖。こいつらデリカシーゼロでさ。
今ってやってんじゃねえかよ。素直に喜べや。
いや、やられちゃいましたね。
なんでイクミもヘラヘラしてんのよ。
Creepy. Just turning creepy. Yeah, what you can do, Charlie? I still don't know what to think about Fiona. It's clearly a cult. She's manipulating people. To what end, though? I guess if we knew more about the religion or the place he's from. Stupid. That was stupid.
言えるのに、今が現実じゃないって。
エアーズブルー、土星圏ハイペリオン出身。父親は同自治領の防衛省事務次官。どういうこと？
俺のプロフィールだ。
ごまかさないで。あなたはハイペリオンに行ってどうするつもりなの？
受け入れ先を探すのさ。
あなたのお父様のところにリバイアスを手土産として？
さあな。
At least that's motivation.
バカを言うな。
何人の人が犠牲になったと思ってるの。許さないわ。許さない。
So I was really worried something was about to happen to Julie.
ニュートリノピンガーに反応？
どうして私あなたが憎い
Oh,
は
please
ずなの
don't.
に。
デフコン3デフコン3ニュートリノピンガーに反応。リバイアスの前方から未確認の艦影が
It sounds like she was about to say, I can't stand you, but why do I feel this way about you? And I do not want that. Please.
繰り返します。リバイアスの前方から未確認の艦影が近づいています。メインクルーおよびバイタルガーダーのパイロットが直ちに持ち場についてください。
蹴散らしてやる。無意味だな。リバイアスには勝てないって分かったよ。頑張ってね。敵が。
Guessing this is the gas pist or whatever we called it. What the hell is the Sphinx?
まただ。またこうやってすぐ。現実は俺を裏切る。
So, was the thing that flew by them a couple episodes ago, or 5 episodes ago, or whatever, was that actually something living in the Godot? Because that looked like it was, like, biological, and it also looked like it had the same outward shell as the thing that was in the Godot before. So is it that the Ryvius is being controlled by some sort of biological entity? Because it was like a spiky outer shell and everything too, right? And it's not too different from the purple outfit the purple wears. Maybe if you think if like the biological entity is actually reading the minds of the crew, and it makes itself look like a human being as well, to fit in, but only certain people can see it. I don't know what to think.
襲いかかる敵の甲虫河川艦。戦いに慣れてしまった俺たちの心の隙間に見えないくさびが打ち込まれる。意識しすぎてた。生きることにも死ぬことにも。遠くにいたはずのあいつも近くにいたはずのあの子も全て。
There is a lot to think about from this episode. I am going to have to redo the entire board because too many relationships changed, and we're in a completely different platform now. Like before, where I had the gangs and then the two different crews that we knew about that were working together. Now we got the supervisors, I guess we just call them all supervisors, bridge crew. Then we got the Vital Garter crew. But then we know the people that work in the mess hall. Then I guess we still have everybody else. But it's just the consideration now that, like, even Criff is saying Blue's not in control anymore. Even though he's clearly in control now. I hope Julie and Blue are not a thing. That's not what I want. Not what I want at all. But I'm guessing that was a Sphinx that we saw at the end, which raises so many more questions. I'm going to have so much to think about when I'm retaking my notes. Plus, so much stuff happened here that my brain just wasn't able to catch up with that I'm going to have notes about. Like, I clearly don't think Blue came up with this whole plan thing on his own. Or not on his own, that he didn't have this plan from the beginning. There's no way that he was in on the element of this all being, all happening. Like, clearly he took advantage of the situation in helping to get rid of the two infiltrators to then save everybody, but then he also had to come up with a plan to take over the bridge and everything too, I guess. Like, I think it was happenstance that he stole the gun. So, but it's the gun that really got him able to take over everything else. Like, it's a thing that he's been pointing at everybody. And yeah, Fina still manipulating everyone, but it seems like she's manipulating everyone like she's maybe pushing, despite her joking about sharing the room with him, it seems like she might be manipulating Koji into going with Aoki, but also at the same time, it seems like she is doing something with, oh god, what was her name? Yuki's former girlfriend or current girlfriend? I can't remember. Sorry, I've lost her on my board. It's been a while since Erina Rigby. Yeah, they broke up in episode 1. Seems like she's up to something with Fina as well. But what? Because it also seems like Cullen is manipulating him, and I don't... It's very confusing. Or is Erina manipulating Cullen, and Fina is in charge of that, and then Cullen is manipulating Yuki? I don't know. This interconnection... I have a whole freaking board, and I'm still fucking confused. I think I need to reestablish lines and figure out people's new connections. The 1 month jump has messed me up. Yeah, and then Criff's whole, you say anything else, I'll kill you, kisses on the nose. Like, did Charlie actually ingratiate himself to her, but she doesn't want people to know that? Or is she just, like, keeping Charlie on a leash just in case, but also doesn't want him around? The Johnson-Charlotte thing is really weird, but at least Charlotte's getting something out of it now instead of having just creep her, like, all around corners. It's something. That's probably the most normal thing out of all this, except for, obviously, Lilith and Emerson, who are at least still the same. Like, nothing has changed between them. I mean, granted, they're not, like, smart or anything, but at the very least, they're a normal relationship in this ship full of whatever. Something happens to them, I'm going to start being very concerned, because they're our last holdout of normalcy, I feel like. Very confused, though, why Fina doesn't want Rafra, or didn't take Rafra with her. I guess my concern is that before I mentioned that Rafra, I thought had seen Purple Girl, which might imply that Rafra has some sort of abilities? I don't know, let's say. And maybe the presence of Rafra keeps Fina in check. That might be a thing that Sandy could exposit on later. Sandy seems to know Fina, but at the same time, Fina is afraid of having Sandy around, so I don't know. A lot has changed. I think the only thing to do here is to take the notes next time and see what we can come up with. Because otherwise, I am a mess. So I think we're going to go ahead and call it here. Once again, I have been Theta. This has been Stone-Faced Reactions, and we will catch you next time. Bye-bye.
Hey everybody, thanks for watching another Stone-Faced Reactions. If you have an idea of another video we could go ahead and watch, go ahead and put it in the comments down below and we'll add it to the wheel. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and let us know what you thought about this video, what parts you liked. And until then, we'll see you next time. Is this too goofy?